right, good evening, everybody. It is Kevin Harris. It is the Benchwarmer Podcast, and we are live at Castnet Studios, downtown Biloxi. And in the studio with me tonight is the one and only Jason the Kid Knight. What's going on, Jason?
Not much, man. Just hanging out.
Hanging out is always fun. So, tell me what's been going on. So we'll go into a little bit of the history of Jason here in just a little bit. But tell me, you recently were released from UFC, and now you're back on the coast of Mississippi doing your things. So since then, where are you at now? And bring us to that point, and then we'll go back a little bit.
Man, right before my release, I worked out, trying to get my own gym, and got it started. I got the building, got the mats. I was in there getting it all set up, and then I get the email that I'm released from UFC. So didn't really worry too much about it. I know that I got work to do to get back there. So I kept on setting up my gym, got my gym going. That's going great. We've got, right at 60 members. Some come, some go. But, it's going, slightly better than I expected. But I'm excited about it and can't wait to see it grow in the future. Also, me and my brother and a few good friends of ours, we've started our own promotion, Empire. We got our first fight coming up. I think it's March 30th. Yeah, March 30th at the Coast Coliseum.
Right.
I think it's the Coast Coliseum Convention Center. But I think we've got 13 fights lined up for that night, so it's gonna be pretty action-packed. So I'm excited about that as well. But man, I'm just trying to make big moves. And Bare Knuckle, they give me a call, want me to fight, and guess who I got? I got Connor's boy. I got Autumn LeBeau. So.
Now, don't get too deep into that. We're going to go into that in just a little bit. But I want to kind of give some people a refresher on who Jason Knight is. So you started amateur fighting at, 14?
Yeah, man.
14 years old, and you started amateur fighting. You turned pro at 17.
Yes, sir.
Please don't call me sir. So if you look at it, now you only had 4 amateur fights. Is that correct? Or did you have?
I had 4 sanctioned amateur fights.
Sanctioned, okay.
But so I started when I was 14. I was training out in my backyard, and a guy named Jay Bullock, one of my real good buddies, he wanted to teach me how to start throwing straight punches, learn how to box. Well, we did that for a few months, and he finds out about this place called the Fight Club over in Mobile, Alabama. Sign up there. I fought for them 6 times, but this was before Alabama had an athletic commission. They didn't get an athletic commission. I was already well pro by that time. But I fought over there 6 times. I went 6-0 fighting out of my backyard. And then I was around 15, I think 15 and a half, almost 16 when I signed up to Allen's gym.
I got you. And then after that, of course, your first pro fight, 17 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you if I'm correct because I'm making sure I did my homework correctly. So, in your first pro fight was with
Patrick Needham.
Yep, and you were let's see, you won that one, of course. So your amateur fights, you only lost. Your pro fights before the UFC, you only lost 1.
Yeah, and amateur I went 10-0. As a pro, I was 16-1 before the UFC.
I got you. So and then you went in, and then your second pro fight, Sean Hayes, Issues, and you won that one. Of course, that was with No Love Entertainment, which was Rich Clemente.
Yeah, Rich Clemente.
And that was at the Hard Rock. And then you went on to
Orange Beach at the Wharf.
Yes, Battle at the Beach.
Darren Hayes.
Yep. And then Ron Jacobs. And then you did with Fight Force International, Blood and Sand 10.
Jonathan Burdine.
Yep. How do you seriously? How do you remember all of that kind of stuff?
I don't know why, man. Like I can't remember. I can't remember to tie my shoes and chew bubble gum, but I can remember to stuff like that. I can remember numbers and stuff like that, but if I know that I'm supposed to take the trash out, I'll be on the way to go and take the trash out, walk by some cartoons on TV, and be like, ooh, cartoons. I don't know why, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've seen you fight many times with me being affiliated with Atlas Fights. I've seen you fight many times, and that's about the time that you started picking up with Atlas Fights. You picked up with Atlas Fights Cage Rage 9, James Rutherford. Then you fought Sean Hayes again, Issues.
Yeah. After that, I went on a little tear for Atlas. I was the king of Atlas for a while.
Yes, you were.
And Mr. Glenn, he kept me busy for a while. Give me a good platform to fight on, and I think without Mr. Glenn, I wouldn't say completely without Mr. Glenn. I think I could have got there too, but he gave me a great platform to put on a good show for a while, and I think that helped me get recognized by the Titan FC.
Correct. And sorry, I'm doing some technical work behind the scenes here, trying to get there. So after that, you fought Michael Roberts, which was your only professional loss before the UFC. That one went to the judges, unanimous decision. But later on, you will get revenge on Michael Roberts at some point there. Yeah. So, and then you took on Matt McCook, and you submitted him in the first round, 52 seconds in. I remember that fight, man. That was one of those when that fight was booked, we were like, oh man, this is going to be huge. I mean, it was going to be huge. And then you just came in and you dominated that one.
Yeah, man. The Mike Roberts fight, I think I was 7 or 8-0 by the time I fought him, and it was his pro debut. And I took Mike Roberts so lightly. I thought that, I was 7 or 8-0, and I don't think I had been out of the second round not once in my pro career. Every one of them I won by submission or knockout or something like that, and
right.
I was running through everybody, so I had that I'm untouchable thing, and I thought a debut guy, I'm just gonna wipe him out. Well, we got there the first round, and I barely trained for the fight, maybe 2 weeks really, and of hard training, but I went out there first round and I dominated the first round. Come out second round, I'm gassed out. Well, Matt McCook, he sees that Mike Roberts beat the hell out of me, and he thinks that that's just the way that I fight.
Right,
that's just me. It's going to be easy. And he thought he was going to drag me into deep. He said, and I quote, "I'm going to drag that boy into deep waters and drown him." He said he's nowhere near ready for me. He's not even in the same league. I don't know what Allen was thinking booking this fight. I remember it like it was yesterday. And whenever he said that, man, it lit a fire under me. And he didn't even know what he was doing, but I trained so hard for that fight. And I remember sitting in the back, a guy named Marcus Sursa, seeing him hitting pads, and he would throw like a fake a jab out there, and he'd throw a lazy inside leg kick. And when he threw that lazy inside leg kick, that left hand would drop. And Marcus Sursa told me about it. He said he's gonna throw that kick, and he said when we hit him, we're gonna hurt him. He said he's gonna throw that kick. We're gonna block it, hit him, and hurt him. I said all right. We go out there. He throws that kick identical, 100% what Marcus Sursa said. He threw that. If you go back and watch it, he throws the inside leg kick, left hand drops. I throw a straight right down the pipe. Bam, dropped him. Very first punch of the fight. And I rush in. He gets up. I shoved him down, hit him a few times, and then rear naked choke. It was over with.
Yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, man. My thing was like he was the champ before that, and right. I won the interim title from Sean Hayes.
Right.
So I still wasn't the champ, and he was just saying that he was coming to take his belt back, blah blah blah. And after that, man, I just had.
Yeah, he was coming off of an injury, wasn't he?
Yeah,
his shoulder.
Yeah, and he was trying to be a little prick about the whole fight. Got all up my face and stuff, but. After I shut him up, I was like, go get my belt, boy, because they come out and put my interim title back around me.
Right.
And his belt was still in the back. I said, nah, this ain't my belt. Go get my belt, boy. He went in the back, got my belt before I ever left the cage.
That's nice. So, and then after that, you moved on to Bradley Collins, and then Atlas Fights 20, Ronald Jacobs.
Again.
Yep. And then Tony Way. And here we go again. We're running on another tear of first round. Harry Johnson, which was V3 fights, was second round. Then you're back with the Atlas Fighting Championships 4, another first round of Gilbert
yeah, Prada, baby.
And then Atlas Fights 23, you get your revenge on Michael Roberts. Tell us a little bit about that, because Michael Roberts, for you guys that don't know, Michael Roberts is a very, very, very talented fighter. And if you missed it a minute ago, he beat Jason in a unanimous decision. And then he was coming back, and it went back to a decision and went all 5 rounds.
Yeah, see, the first fight was a unanimous decision for Mike Roberts. It was a 3-round fight, non-title fight. That was my first loss. Well, then, fast forward, 7, 8 fights into the future? I think it's 6 or 7 fights into the future.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights.
7 fights into the future. We fast forward 7 fights into the future, and then I get the rematch with Mike Roberts. I've begged him for this for like 2 years, and it wasn't smart for his career. I understand that at the time I just wanted to fight him, but it wasn't smart for his career to fight me until I had a little bit of hype behind me. I had a little bit of boost, a reason for him to fight me, and it made sense for him to fight me. And we went out there and we fought, and man, I trained so hard for that fight. I went up to Milwaukee, I trained with Duke Rufus and Anthony Pettis and them for a little while. I think I spent like a week and a half up there, and this was right before the fight. So I come back with a different level of confidence. Like, man, I've been training with these guys. What is this guy finna do to me? And I go out there, man, and I felt like I dominated most of the fight. I got the unanimous decision win that time. And then who was next? Thiago Moises.
Yeah, I seriously, I don't know how you do that.
That fight right there, I remember Thiago Moises. That was the first real gym I ever fought anybody out of. That's the first time. It was Coconut Creek, Florida. He trained with Dustin Poirier and them. And I remember, I knew he trained out of American Top Team somewhere. I didn't know where. Just American Top Team. I didn't ask no questions, because back then that's how it was. I didn't ask questions. Well, we show up to weigh-ins, and he's stocky. He's all in shape. And I'm like, damn. He looks pretty tough. And they say he's out of, whenever they announce us at the weigh-ins, it's like out of American Top Team, Coconut Creek, Florida. And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, Lord, that's a really good gym. Oh, God. I was nervous, man. And I don't know, whenever you get me scared, you get me mad, I fight so much better. And I don't know why, when I went into that fight, I was just about scared of him. And I went out there and unleashed hell on him, man. That was probably one of my best stand-up performances ever. And I think that's what got me the call for Titan right there.
There you go. And then that was your next step, was on to Titan FC.
Where I almost died.
So tell that story.
Oh, God. They called me, it was short notice. They called me like 2 weeks before the fight. It was September 18th, I think, was the date of the fight, if I'm not mistaken. But September 18th of 2015. And I had like 2 weeks to train for it, so I was not in shape, of course.
Right.
I very rarely stay active unless I have something, unless I have something to look forward to.
Right.
So, anyways, they called me on short notice. I got 2 weeks training for the fight. I go out there, and he beats the stuffing out of me for a round and a half, just treat me like a punching bag. And finally, in the second round, I catch him in what you call the stocks. It's a rubber guard position. Catch him in the stocks, and I pull off like a weird-looking arm bar. And I'm almost finishing this arm bar. Like I'm trying to break his arm in half. It's hyperextended to the fullest. Well, next thing you know, he's going to slip out the arm bar. I feel him slipping out, so I switch it into a triangle. When I lock up the triangle, I knew it was over. I squeezed with everything I had, and next thing you know, he tapped. And that was the one that gave me my shot, man. He was roided out and just huge, man. He one day you see him at the weigh-ins and he's all shriveled up tiny. then you see him during the fight, and oh my God, he was just huge compared to me, and so much stronger. But I conquered the beast, I guess.
So then we go from Titan FC to the UFC, and you took this fight, your very first fight in the UFC. You took this fight on 2 weeks' notice?
Yeah, I had 13 days. They called me on November the 24th. That was the day that my son was born in 2015. And they called Alan. I remember like it was yesterday. I was pulling up to Arby's. I was pulling up to Arby's to get me something to eat shortly after my little boy was born. And Alan calls and he's like, "Hey man, you want to fight in the UFC?" I was like, "Well, hell yeah."
No.
He's
no,
like,
I don't.
He's like, I was like, "When?" He's like, it's in 2 weeks, man. I was like, "Look, man, I'm not in shape, you know." I was like, "But I'll give it my best shot, you know. I'll fight." He's like, "Look, you know, even if you lose, it's not no big deal. You're fighting the number 13 guy in the world. His name's Tatsuya Kawajiri." He said, "And they're giving you a 4-fight contract." I was like, "Hell yeah, man, let's do it." And you know, we went to the grinding stone for, you know, I think it was 9 days that I could actually just train real hard right there at the gym. I was up there twice a day, and next thing you know, I had to fly out to Vegas. I think I had to be there like 4 days early. I get there, and you know, you get these little pity pad sessions and stuff,
right?
But it's not like real hard training. You can't really train hard on fight week anyways because you don't want to get hurt. But we go out there, and I almost finished it in the first. I thought I was going to, man. He went to take me down. I catch him in a triangle. It's like locked up backwards. I dropped 5 or 6 elbows, and Alan Belcher screams, "Switch it! Like switch the triangle so you can finish it." Well, I should have just stayed there and just kept elbowing him. But I tried to switch the triangle, and he slipped out. After that, you know, it was all his fight. And you know, ain't a whole lot you can do about that. It's Tatsuya Kawajiri.
Right. And then, so after that, you go on a 4-fight streak of wins. Jim Ehlers, then Dan Hooker. And some of these names I just can't say. I suck. Alex
Caceres.
Yes. And then Chaz Skelly. So run us through those, how it felt to finally hit that of being in the UFC. You get that first loss, but then you go on that 4-win streak. How'd that feel for you?
Man, just honestly, even with the first loss, it was not that big a deal. You know, I lost to number 13 in the world. I just fought in Las Vegas. I just lived my dream in front of thousands and, you know, around the world, thousands and thousands. And then, you know, I get my first win. Dude, whenever I got the first win, it was amazing. Well, you know, it was already the biggest feeling of my life. You know, I just won, at 12,000 and 12,000. I guaranteed I got $24,000 going to hit the bank in a couple of days. Well, next thing you know, we're sitting at the hotel room, fixing to take shots of Patron. And then we watched the press conference. Jason Knight gets a bonus. You know, I get 50 G's.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, you know, my life just changed forever. And you know, that's the way it was. You know, it was a life changer. It really was. After that, you know, I fight the 3 more wins. Out of those 3 more wins, I get 2 more bonuses.
I was going to say, you got total of 3.
I got a total of 3 bonuses out of 4 wins. And then, you know, everything was going great. I went from broke to rich. Not, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't rich. I was nowhere near rich, but in my eyes, that's how it was.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you go from barely being able to pay your bills to I can buy anything I ever wanted, and that's exactly what I did. I had 4-wheelers, I had buggies, I bought my trucks, I got my house was paid off. You know,
right.
I did some good with it, but I did a lot of foolish stuff that a young kid's gonna do. But you know, I made those mistakes, and I'm 26. You know, so I've still got plenty of time to get it all back. But you know, after the 4-fight win streak happens, I get all the money and everything, and I think it was like, I don't know, a year and a half or something like that I just had the money rolling in.
Right.
And I get the Ricardo Lamas fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, by the time I get to the Ricardo Lamas fight, I'm blowing money left and right. And then I fight Ricardo Lamas, and it goes from, you know, I had $100,000 in the bank after the last fight to I got $30,000 in the bank after this fight. Well, next thing you know, I keep spinning the same way. Next thing you know, I get to fight with Gabriel Benitez, and everything's gonna straighten back out after I beat him up.
Right.
Well, next thing you know, I get strep throat the week before the fight, but money's running low, so we can't back out this fight. We gotta get it. We gotta go get this win.
Right.
Ain't no backing out. I gotta beat Gabriel. Well, I go out there first round, and it's in my head that I gotta beat him. I gotta kill him. I gotta destroy him. Well, I go out here and I give him hell for the first little while. Next thing you know, I start gassing out. I had strep throat, and I thought that I'd be able to fight hard because I've trained hard. I busted my butt. I knew that I was ready, and I gas out. He beat the stuff out of me for the next 2 rounds, almost like the Michael Roberts fight. Well, after that, you got Makwan Amirkhani, who I beat, but they gave the fight to him. I don't know why. Don't ask me. But anyways, then Jordan Rinaldi, my hat's off to him, man. The guy was tough. He took me down, took me back, and I couldn't get him off. I wasn't going to let him tap me out, but couldn't get him off my back. So here we are now. We're going to fight Autumn LeBeau at Bare Knuckle FC.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit now that we're to that point, and so no hard feelings towards the UFC or anything.
No, man, I love Sean Shelby. Dana White, I haven't really got to talk to him a whole bunch, but when I was on the win streak, he was talking good about me, and Sean Shelby, he told Alan Belcher get a couple wins, so put me back in there. So I believe, it's just a matter of time before I either go back to the UFC or go back to another organization that's just as, well endowed as the UFC. The main thing is, if I can still keep doing what I love and provide for my family, I don't care if I go to the UFC. I don't care if I go to ONE FC, Bellator, Bare Knuckle. I don't care if I fight these local shows. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to provide for my family doing something I love.
I got you. So now we're moving on, and you're to that point now. So Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, and tell us how that came about for you to be a part of this coming up April 6th at the Coliseum.
Shortly after my release, it was the BJPN.com. They reached out to me wanting to do an article about my release and everything. And after they did the article, I had a few different people reach out to me. Some Russian organization, they reached out to me. Next thing you know, Cage Warriors reached out. Then Bare Knuckle, they reached out. And, everybody was kind of throwing out ideas. I told everybody that was in the MMA scene, I'm not really ready to fight right now. And they threw out a couple ideas and seeing if I was even in the same ballpark. Well, Cage Warriors, I told them, I like the idea that y'all are on Fight Pass and all that stuff possibly later on this year. But, I don't want to fight MMA until I've had the chance to work on the stuff that I need to work on.
Right.
The Russian organization, they wanted me to fight Musa Kaminaya, the Russian, I don't know if you've listened earlier, but that's the Russian who almost killed me. They wanted me to fight him for $5,000 and $5,000. That's $10,000 to fight the guy who almost killed me.
Right.
I left this out of the story earlier. After I fought Musa Kaminaya, I walked around for a month and a half. Every time that I ducked my head or every time I rolled over in bed, my room would start spinning. I almost pass out, because this guy gave me the worst concussion of my life. So the Russian organization wants me to fight him, so I told him, nah, I'm good. Well, then Bare Knuckle reaches out, and, I tell him, I don't know, we'll see, maybe possibly. Well, one guy that I'm talking to, he's like the middleman, I guess, and he throws out just like a crappy offer to me. And, I told him, you don't need to talk to me, you need to talk to my manager. Talk to Mike Sanford, talk to Alan Belcher. If you can convince them, you can convince me.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're talking to Mikey. They work out a pretty good deal for us. And I'd said something about it. I'd seen, where everybody was putting up posts about the Bare Knuckle FC and stuff, so I posted my own little post. Hey, I hear they're coming to
I saw that.
the Gulf Coast in April. So I made that post. Well, I guess I was talking to my manager in the sleep that night. You know, after I made the post, a bunch of people talked about it and stuff. And I guess they talked to Mikey in my sleep. 'Cause I wake up the next morning, and Ariel Hawani has on there that Autumn LeBeau's fighting Jason Knight. And I was called Mikey. I was like, "Hey, Mikey, we fighting Autumn LeBeau at Bare Knuckle?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "All right, yeah, let's do it."
Wake up and start going. So if you're facing Artem, so Artem is a former UFC fighter as well. I have it written down here: 13-15 professional record. Self-proclaimed, I guess, GOAT. I just throwing that out there, but
I can't hate the guy. I can't hate on him or nothing. Whenever you watch his fights, if you watch him, he brings it every time. He fights hard. He's sloppy, man. I think that he's gonna come in here. He's gonna try to knock me out. He's gonna give it everything he's got, but he's not gonna calm down and think about how to do it, and that's gonna get him picked apart. That name, the GOAT, I think that's hilarious to me because he eats it up. He loves it. He loves being called the GOAT, but everybody calls him that as a joke. You know, I mean, it's a joke. And I mean, if somebody was calling me names like that, I mean, I probably wouldn't like it too much. But they call me Hick Diaz and stuff like that. I don't mind. I'm a Hick. It's cool,
right?
Don't call me something I'm not, though. You know what I'm saying? Call Anderson Silva the GOAT. Call Uriah Faber the GOAT. Call GSP the GOAT. Somebody like that. But anyways.
So
call his teammate Conor McGregor.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I mean, he's done a lot. Just not Autumn.
So I've been watching some of these comments roll through, and the main words that I'm seeing out of these comments are "our house." So he's
right.
coming into your house,
our house, baby,
and gonna try to inflict some damage. But tell us your thought on your house.
Yeah, man. The way I see it is, anytime you just read my resume a while ago. I have fought down here so much.
Yes.
Since I was 14 years old, from Alabama to Mississippi to Tennessee, you know, around these areas. I think I fought in Louisiana once or twice. I don't even know. But anyways, the thing about it, I fought around this Gulf Coast for years, man. Everybody knows me. They know exactly what's going to go down. They know Jason's going to come out here and give them a hell of a show, and they've been rooting me on since I was 14, and they haven't got to do it in a few years. So they've saved up a bunch of this shit. They've been screaming at their TV for the last couple of years. Now they get to come scream in person. Man, it's fixing to get live around here. I'm telling you.
I know I screamed at my TV a few times.
I honestly thought about not even getting any walkout music, because I know I just walk out there and it's gonna be Jason.
You should.
I think that'd be awesome. You know, just walk out and just have it electric. I know that it doesn't matter. They could bring however many Irish people they want, however many Russians, whatever they want to bring, whoever Autumn wants to bring with him. He can pay their plane tickets and load as many of them in a plane as he can fit, and you're still not going to hear him that night. You're not going to hear none of his fans. You're going to hear Jason Knight fans just blowing him out the water. I promise you that. And anytime he does something good, he's going to get booed off the stage. Anytime I do something good, there's going to be chants. I just can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. I get to go out here and put on a show for my people and in my hometown. I get to wear my boots walking out there, wear my sponsors on my shirt, and do my thing.
About time.
Yeah, man. What I'm excited about is, he's a decent fighter and he's gonna come. He's gonna try his best to beat me up. He's gonna bring it. Most likely he's gonna cut me a little bit because this old scar tissued up face is gonna happen. But if I can keep him standing, I promise you we're going to be a bloody mess in there together, and it's going to be a hell of a night for Jason, I promise you, because I've been working so hard on my boxing, working with a guy named Blake Singley, one of my real good buddies, working with him and Brandon Davis, and just trying to really improve my boxing game, my footwork, my head movement, stuff like that. And we're just going to go in here and try to pick this guy apart and walk away victorious.
So we were talking off the air. So this is just a 1-fight deal for you. Artem did a 3-fight deal. I've seen Chris Lieben's going to be there fighting at the one that you're at. Another local fighter, also former UFC, Chase Sherman's going to be a part of that card. So with a 1-fight deal, where does that leave you after this is over with? Is it back to training, back to working on getting back to you, getting back to working on the stuff that you want to work on to be able to make that next step again?
Yeah, I had a conversation with a couple of my coaches the other day, and I think it's about time to work on getting my black belt. So I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna do this one bare knuckle fight. They said I probably could have done like a 3-fight non-exclusive deal or whatever. But, I want to leave my options open. If any other MMA promotions decide that they want to look at me and I possibly want to sign with them, they're not going to want to sign me if I'm already signed to a bare knuckle league. Because,
no, absolutely.
Think about it like this. Say I'm signed to fight for bare knuckle in April. Say June, Bellator wants me to fight for them. If they find out I'm fighting in April, I damn sure not fighting in Bellator in June. They don't want me no more. So that's just my thoughts about it. I'm gonna do this one. After that, I'm gonna set up a few jiu-jitsu tournaments, and try to work on getting my black belt. Try to stay active. I mentioned earlier, if I don't have something to look forward to, if I don't have something to give me that drive, I'm not one of those guys that's gonna self-motivate.
Right.
I gotta have something. To keep me off the couch, and so I'm gonna set up some big jiu-jitsu tournaments. Hopefully, maybe it's like some submission only type thing, or maybe some combat jiu-jitsu or something, and try and get into that world a little bit and work on getting my black belt. Hopefully, get back out to Uriah Faber some, Donald Cerrone some, and work on my wrestling and all the holes that are in my game. Hopefully, November, December, I'll get another MMA fight somewhere. Or, if that doesn't work out, then maybe I'll try to give Bare Knuckle a call, go back to them. We'll see what happens after the fight.
Well, so when Bare Knuckle first came out, I was talking to some people, and we talked about this again, and I want to get your insight on it. Some people say that the actual bare knuckle fighting may be a little bit safer than what maybe boxing.
Yeah. See, I would honestly, I think I would agree to that, because the boxing gloves, they've been proven to cause head trauma, because you got more of a punching space. I guess I'm not real sure the whole science behind it, but they say that boxing gloves make your brain bounce around more, causes more concussions, more head injuries. And the way I would look at it is, if you're getting hit with knuckles versus a pillow, you're most likely going to go to sleep a little bit easier. And in boxing, they give you the standing 8 counts over and over again.
Right.
They let you keep get knocked out, get back up, knocked out, get back up. So I would say bare knuckle boxing is safer than boxing.
I got you.
Because I would say there's probably more of a chance for somebody to actually hit the shut-off switch and you stay asleep,
Right.
instead of you just getting rocked over and over again. As far as it being safer than MMA, no, I don't think there's no way, because in MMA, you get knocked down, then they jump on you, the fight's over. The referee comes in and stops it. They don't let you get knocked down, pick you up, dust you off, give you 8 seconds to let your brains try to come back.
Right. And then possibly not
get
come back.
rattled around again.
Yep. I get it. So when we get to that point, so you have your new gym now as well, Jason Knight MMA. You want to tell us a little bit about that, where it's at, the kind of classes you're doing and all of that?
Yeah, man. I have a little gym open in Lucedale, Mississippi. It's 5 minutes from my house, 442 Winter Street, Lucedale, Mississippi. We opened up Jason Knight MMA, and man, it's going great. We got a kids program, do kids classes every day. We do fitness kickboxing every day. We do jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts. The MMA class is made up of like Muay Thai, wrestling, a little mixture of everything. But other than that, we do no-gi jiu-jitsu, regular gi jiu-jitsu, and our fitness kickboxing classes. And everybody seems to be loving it. I've got, I think, 65 members or something like that right now. And sometimes I'll get a few more, and sometimes 1 or 2 will drop out. stuff like that. But that's how it goes with the gym. But I'm loving it.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? I want to thank you for coming in and chatting with us today. You can catch Jason, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. It's April 6th at the Coast Coliseum. And if I think I read right today, that the tickets are on sale Thursday.
Yes, sir.
At 10 a.m.?
I think they go on, Thursday at 10 a.m. I think that's through the Ticketmaster box office. I believe Ricky Duran has the table seats. Before that, though, we got Atlas is coming up when?
Yes, Atlas is actually, they're going to be at DeRidder, Louisiana, the D-Town Beatdown. It's happening this Saturday. And then Gulf Coast MMA has theirs on March 16th, I believe.
And then after that is my show. That's me, my brother, and a few good friends of ours. We started an Empire, Empire FC, and that's gonna be the start of something that we're gonna try to do a little different than everybody else. We're gonna have our MMA fights. It's gonna be our first set of MMA fights March the 30th, and then after that, we're gonna have another set of MMA fights in June. But in the meantime, we're gonna try to do a slugfest in April. We're gonna try to start doing some jiu-jitsu tournaments, some jiu-jitsu super fights, all this type of stuff, kickboxing matches, boxing matches, and try to break down really the mixed martial arts aspect of MMA.
And break it down and break it into its separate entities.
Separate
Gotcha.
entities, and sometimes do separate shows, sometimes mix the shows, and just
Gotcha.
make it pretty cool.
Well, looking forward to some great success for you outside of the fighting and with everything else you got going on. Also, some good news now. Atlas Fights is the sponsor of the Benchwarmer podcast. Got some great news for Atlas Fights this week, May 18th. They're going to be back at the IP, and it is now an all-ages show. So the IP is allowing all ages in for that fight on May 18th at the IP Casino. So that'll be happening. So stay tuned to atlasfights.com. They'll give you all the info and, of course, their Facebook page. Once again, I want to thank you, Jason. Great job. Congratulations on everything you've got going for you. Working your way back to where you want to be. I get it. I've been there, done that, working back. So you just got to work on yourself, and once you're there, you're going to be there. I promise you that.
I'm still young, so I'm ready to get it all back, man. As far as the Atlas Fights going at the IP, man, the ones that they just made kid friendly. These shows used to be awesome back when I used to fight at the IP. They used to be awesome whenever it wasn't kid friendly. Now you're gonna have so many more people there, so many more faces, so many more people in the stands. Promise you, do not miss that show. That's gonna be a really good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So once again, thank you very much, Jason. And we did have some little technical difficulties, but this will be up on YouTube, and we'll be sharing that as well. The no technical difficulties when you replay it. So we'll get that taken care of. But thank you once again, Jason. I appreciate it. And everybody, you guys have a great night. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks because it's Mardi Gras. I ain't working next week.
Good, man.
See you all later.
All right, guys. Have a good one.